respected delegates, dear colleagues and fellow students. It is with great pleasure and enthusiasm that I welcome you all to the BSBI EU Parliament Simulation Club's first session. Today we gather to discuss a topic that lies at the very heart of Europe's political vision and global responsibility: the EU's role in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals, challenges and opportunities. The Sustainable Development Goals, our shared global blueprint for peace, prosperity and environmental well-being, represent not only an international commitment, but a moral obligation. As future leaders, policymakers, business professionals, and global citizens, it is essential that we understand how European institutions respond to these challenges, how policies are shaped, and how complex negotiations unfold behind the scenes. Today's simulation brings these processes to life. We will observe, analyze, and actively participate in the dynamic interplay between the three key institutions of the European Union: the European Commission, the Council of the European Union, and the European Parliament. Each institution carries a unique role, perspective, and responsibility, and it's through their dialogue that European policy is ultimately shaped. The goal of today's session is not only to debate, but also to experience the collaborative process, to appreciate its complexity, and to understand how diverse viewpoints contribute to the creation of meaningful, sustainable policy. Before we proceed, it's my honor to introduce the distinguished participants who will shape today's debate. Our Commissioner, Ms. Nadila Muti Rizaldi, representing European Commission with her expertise in policy initiative and institutional vision. Our Council representative, Mr. Rizul Bugalia, voicing the perspectives and priorities of EU member states from the Council's standpoint. Our members of the European Parliament, MEPs, from Germany, Jeffrey Nana Bouakir, Kwasi Reasir Abdullah representing Spain, Mohit Udas Deshpande representing Italy, and Manu Narayan Manoj representing Greece. Each delegate brings a unique national viewpoint reflecting the diversity of interests that shape EU decision making. I would also like to extend a special welcome to our highly esteemed guest speaker and academic expert, Dr. Kashif Mangi. We are honored to have you with us today. Your professional insight into EU policy, sustainable development, and institutional cooperation will greatly enrich our session and deepen our understanding of today's theme. This afternoon, I encourage all participants and observers to, let's say, fully engage in discussion, question assumptions, challenge arguments, and explore innovative solutions. This is a learning environment, a diplomatic laboratory, and a space where ideas shape understanding. The EU's pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goals is not merely an institutional journey. It is a human journey that affects all of us. Let us approach this simulation with respect, curiosity, and intellectual rigor, embodying the spirit of cooperation that defines the European project. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us. With that, let us begin our formal proceedings. I now invite our Commissioner, Ms. Nadila Muti Rizaldi, to deliver her opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished delegates, it is an honor to speak on behalf of the European Commission. Our commitment is unwavering to ensure that the Sustainable Development Goals guide every action taken by the European Union. We envision a Europe where prosperity, fairness, and sustainability are not competing ideals, but shared pillars of our common future. The European Green Deal stands as our blueprint for this transformation. It charts the path for Europe to become the world's first climate-neutral continent by 2050. Through the Fit for 55 package, we are turning ambition into action, reducing greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by 2030, while fostering innovation and social inclusion. Our Circular Economy Action Plan is another cornerstone, reimagining how we produce, consume, and grow. It empowers citizens and industries alike to lead the green transition through sustainable products, cleaner technologies, and smarter resource use. This is not only an environmental policy, but also Europe's new growth strategy, one that creates jobs, strengthens competitiveness, and secures a resilient future for all Europeans. The results speak for themselves. Since 1990, the European Union has cut emissions by more than 30%, while our economy has continued to expand. Over 250 billion euros from Next Generation EU has been dedicated to green recovery and digital innovation, prove that climate leadership and economic strength can and must go hand in hand. Yet our success depends on unity. No member state can face the climate crisis alone. We must all work together with determination, fairness, and a shared sense of purpose. Let us not shy away from having the necessary discussion on how to ensure that our 2030 goal is feasible. I hope to receive the support from the members of the European Parliament, enabling us to continue our dynamic cooperation as we aim for a fair and inclusive green transition.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your insightful remarks. We will now hear the perspective of the Council of the European Union, which plays a vital role in balancing national interests across our member states. I invite our Council representative, Mr. Rizul Bugalia, to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on sustainable development goals, challenges, and opportunities. Mr. President and esteemed colleagues, the Council of European Union fully acknowledges and supports the Green Deal vision. This deal is essential to securing the long-term prosperity and stability of our continent. However, as representative of 27 member states, we must ensure that policies work for all countries, from wealthy, prosperous northern nations to struggling southern economies, because our ultimate benchmark for success is not merely policy adoption, but successful implementation of policies across every single nation. Moving further to the main argument, first point is a single approach may not suit the diverse needs of all countries. Germany has money for solar panels, whereas Greece has debt problems. So we must balance ambition with reality. Poland uses coal to produce energy. Meanwhile, France uses nuclear power to produce electricity. Rich countries like Germany, France, Luxembourg can afford green transition, but poor countries cannot because they are struggling with Lehman crisis that happened in 2008 and are still recovering from pandemic recently. The second point is one-size-fits-all policies may not be effective for each country. What works in Sweden won't work in Bulgaria or Greece because the unemployment ratio of these two countries is more than 30%. We need flexible deadlines, not strict rules. Let countries choose how to reach green goals, not force them down to one path. Third point is protection of jobs and economy. Implementing green policies costs money, due to which factories might close, people will lose their jobs. So the Council recognizes that we can't destroy the economy to save the environment. I want to illustrate one example. A factory worker in Spain can't wait for future green jobs. They need to feed their family today. Southern Europe still struggles with unemployment and debt. We cannot impose the same strict timelines on everyone because economic competitiveness cannot be ignored. Tourism dependent economies like Greece need solutions, not industrial ones like Germany. To conclude, Kofi Annan, UN Secretary General, once said that we may have different religions, different languages, different colored skin, but we all belong to one human race. We have different economies, different resources, different challenges, but we all belong to one European Union. So let's respect our diversity while pursuing our common goal, that is green vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council Representative. We will now proceed with opening statements from our member of the European Parliament. Each MEP will have 2 minutes to present their national and political perspectives on today's theme. Let us begin with our representative from Germany. I now invite Mr. Jeffrey Nana Bouakie.
Thank you for this opportunity. Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, speakers, Germany fully supports the European Commission's efforts for sustainable development. The SDGs are our shared roadmaps for a greener, fairer, and stronger Europe. Europe must lead by example, and Germany is proud to show what is possible. Germany believes the EU must act boldly on climate and sustainability. Our focus is renewable energy, innovations, and youth engagement. Through our energy vendor, which means energy translation in German, Germany is moving away from coal and nuclear, and now over half of our electricity comes from renewables like wind and solar. At the same time, we invest in green technologies, such as hydrogen and electric cars. This creates jobs and is boosting the economy. We also involve young people in sustainability through education and programs. They are our future leaders. Strong EU actions on these issues will ensure that all countries move together and no one is left behind. Germany's experience proves sustainability and growth can go hand in hand. Renewable energy expansion has created hundreds and thousands of jobs. Not just any jobs, green jobs. It has also supported innovations and helped reduce emissions. This is a clear example of how the EU can achieve the SDGs while maintaining strong economic growth. Europe has a responsibility to the world. We must work together, invest in clean energy, and drive innovation. Germany urges all EU countries to raise their ambitions and take action today so that the future generations inherit a greener, fairer, and stronger Europe. Thank you. Dankeschön.
Thank you very much. Next, the MEP from Spain, Mr. Kuosai Yasser Abdullah.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, esteemed guests. Sustainable development goals are a crucial fundamental aspect of development that the European Union should strive for. Spain strongly supports sustainable development goals and are always trying to make these strives. Not only will this help strengthen our economies, but also protect our climate and shape a generation that understands sustainability not as a dream, but as a responsibility. Spain highly encourages transitioning into SDGs as it helps with stronger economy, clearer energy, and grow stronger. We should not turn a blind eye in the fact that transitioning is not easy and equal for all members. Spain faces real challenges: the cost of new infrastructures, our heavy dependence on fossil fuel imports, which are 70% of our energy mix, and the pressure that it puts on our shaky economy. However, Spain is committed to SDG, but this transition needs to be realistic and fair. No member should be left behind because they started from a harder position. Spain's main concern is youth employment. As of 2024, the unemployment rate is nearly at 25%, which is 3 times higher than Germany's. High youth unemployment is not only an economic risk, but also a social risk. With that, Spain sees a massive opportunity in green jobs, solar panel installation, maintenance, and renewable energy projects that can give tens and thousands of young Spaniards employment while still getting closer to SDG 7. However, this is high in cost, and given the current position of Spain's economy, we highly urge for fair funding and the EU solidarity. Spain is not here to block progress. Spain is here to remind our members that if the EU wants to achieve ambitious goals, then it should provide ambitious support. Funds, targeted investments, and a shared responsibility are vital. Spain is on board with these goals, ready to work, ready to transition, but we ask that our challenges are recognized and that Europe stands by its promise. No member should be left behind.
Thank you. We now call the MEP from Italy, Mr. Mohit Ulhas Deshpande.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity, respected chairs and gentlemen. Italy is supporting SDGs from last decades, and Italy strengthens social protection mechanism, regional disparities between north and south. We are into that. Italy supports EU-wide strategies addressing youth unemployment and social inclusion. Okay. Going towards the sustainable agriculture and food security, Italy collaborates with EU partners for food supply chain transparency and reduce food waste. That is the EU goal we are addressing. With the health and well-being, we have strong universal public health system, disease prevention and mental health programs we are holding in past few years, past few decades. That's going very well, and also stronger cross-border health cooperation we are doing. Coming to the quality education, women's employment increase is very good in our region, and that is we are keen into developing that as well. National strategies tracking gender-based violence and supporting women entrepreneurship is our main motto towards the 230 agenda. Coming towards the clean energy and climate actions, Italy accelerates renewable energy deployment, such like solar, wind, geothermal, and with ambitious of 2030 agenda. We are committed to EU Green Deal goals, carbon neutrality. We are investing, and we need more investment in energy efficient and infrastructure and green hydrogen technologies. I conclude with this: we cannot speak for peace without protecting the rights of individual and communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And finally, the MEP from Greece, Mr. Manu Narayan Manoj.
Good afternoon. My name is Manu Narayan Manoj. Thank you for giving this wonderful opportunity, respected President and special guest and our Commission. And today I represent Greece, a country at the front line of climate change, energy transition, sustainable development. We believe that the European Union plays an essential role in advancing the sustainable development, not as a distinct institution, but as a community of shared responsibility. And Greece is deeply committed to the SDGs, particularly in the areas where our challenges are the greatest. First, clean and affordable energy. Greece become one of the Europe's leaders in solar and wind power with continued EU investment and cooperation. We aim to build a fully sustainable and energy independent in the future by 2030. That is what we expect. And the second most issues that we are facing is the climate change. The climate actions day by day are getting very, very vulnerable. Each year, Greece experiences severe wildfires, heat waves, and unexpected rising of sea levels. For us, SDG are not abstract goals. It's a survival. So SDGs are very important for Greece. We call for strong support for adaptation risk prevention and climate resilient infrastructures. And we are putting forward more and more ideas to develop even more. And we expect a good support from EU and be a collaborative with our ideas and infrastructure development. The third one is ocean and marine protection. As a maritime nation with thousands of islands, Greece believes that the collaboration of the global warming, that is the main issue that we are facing because of the marine pollution, and we are trying to minimize this issue with the support of EU by protecting the marine biodiversity and combating plastic pollution and promoting sustainable blue economic growth. Beyond our nation prioritize, Greece sees a tremendous opportunities in EU cooperation for the Green Deal and the recovery fund to digitalize the innovation and the education system in our country. Greece calls on the EU to accelerate implementations for achieve fair burden sharing and ensure that no member state is left behind. Together, we can build a greener, fairer, and more resilient Europe, one that not only meets the sustainable development goals, but sets a global example. I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you to all MEPs for your clear and thoughtful positions. To build upon these perspectives and enhance our understanding of the EU's policy landscape, it is my pleasure to invite our guest speaker and academic expert, Dr. Kashif Mangi. Dr. Mangi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ali. It's really an honor to speak with dynamic minds who are representing different European Parliament members and officials from EU policy making. I really appreciate my colleague Dr. Ali Matin to initiate such a nice event in BSBI. Though they have very strong knowledge and research on the topic, I would try to share my experience and surely some limited knowledge with them to make them more convinced or make them more aware of what SDGs are, because some of the members have shown their specific opinion that SDG means the greener energy or climate actions only. But apart from that, SDGs are designed to address, to uplift every sector of life, every possibility to make our planet more sustainable. That means they are focused on the poverty elimination. They are focused to have clean water for everyone, either human or animal. They are more focused on restoration of planets, restoration of forest, restoration or reclamation of the seas where it has halted some part of Earth. So these 17 interconnected SDGs are not only for the greening of the planet or just focused on green energy sector. So I would just start my point that these SDGs are actually a global imperative for action, because here we have 17 interconnected sustainable development goals which are actually focused on rising climate instability, well-being, socio-economic disparities, and unsustainable resource use underscore the urgent need of coordinated goal efforts. Current global progress remains insufficient to meet the SDGs as targeted by the UNGA. So we need some emergent actions to address that deficiency, to address that lacking behind. So why EU? EU has some unique stars with it. They represent 6% in global population, which is not that much high, but they are participating 15% of the GDP in the world. But more interestingly, that they are more ambitious, more serious towards climate neutrality by 2050. So there are some strong motivation, strong determination, I would say rather, behind EU's role for the making it a real example for the remaining world to follow or to pursue the sustainable development goals, either in its current conditions or some betterment or modifications if suggested. So as a global economic power and policy innovator, the EU possesses both the influence and the responsibility to lead the world's sustainability transitions. And it is really witnessed through the European Green Deal, which embodies this commitment that a comprehensive roadmap transforming Europe into the first climate neutral continent. And we hope that it would be happening in near future. So why EU must lead now? Because it has economic influence on the world, it has infrastructure influence on the world, because we know that in EU states we have strong producers, strong technological innovations in various member countries. So we can lead them towards green practices, I would say towards safe practices for the sustainability of the planet. They have a strong policy innovation and modification according to the SDGs, either by technological integration into the current technological industry, or to include some more socio-economic policies into their legal and official rules, which are followed by their national governments. And also the global partnership, because EU is itself a very unique of its kind that has already 20 plus member states. So they can influence different global or regional partners to join their hands to address or to follow the SDG in a real meaning. And as I said, EU has very unique place towards sustainable development. So they have some efficient or effective pillars which can be considered as a very grassroots towards sustainable developments, which includes Paris Agreement, Biodiversity Framework, and Global Gateway Initiative. Through these initiatives, like Paris Agreement focused on reducing carbon dioxide emissions at least by 55% by 2030 through Fit for 55 policies. So Fit for 55 is also very famous and very trending topic in the Europe, because that means that we have to reduce the carbon emissions at least 55, which was produced in 1990, and I think it's not that much hard task to achieve. And secondly, the biodiversity framework, which is like protecting 30% of land and sea areas by 2030. So that purely shows that sustainable development is not only about the carbon dioxide or the carbon neutrality or greener energy sources. It also addresses some natural reclamation of the natural stability. And Global Gateway Initiative, through this initiative, EU has focused, or EU is more determinant that has allocated 300 billions of euros for the cleaner energy, digital infrastructure, and sustainable development worldwide, not only in the EU but worldwide. They are even investing out of the EU territories, that because they have a strong objective, they have a strong motivation that sustainable development goals are the need of time. So in biodiversity leadership, we can say that COP15 Montreal, which was happened in 2022, that is also a real kind of pillar towards the betterment of socio-economic and technological betterment. Along with that, EU has also integrated various policies, or I would say they have replaced or renewed their policies, which are more focused on biodiversity and greener practices in every sector. That's why we are seeing a lot of corporates have integrated the sustainable practices like being biodegradable materials using, or some green packaging, or you would see that as compared to remaining world, EU has more stronger and self-motivated practices for the betterment of this planet. So European Green Deal actually it can be considered as a roadmap to climate neutrality, because it has focused on clean energy transition, circular economy, and farm to fork strategy. That is really covering all the segments, because clean energy surely it's addressed the carbon dioxide concern, but circular economy it's like redesigning production and consumption to eliminate waste and maximize resource efficiency. That doesn't mean that we are limiting the industries. We are just limiting the extra resources which can be considered as a waste, and we are trying to create as least as possible for waste from the production of anything. And farm to fork strategy actually is really focused on the poverty elimination, which is trying to transforming food systems to be fair, healthy, and environment friendly from production to consumption. That means we can give more power, we can give more access, we can give more opportunity to the farmers to innovate their farming capabilities, to innovate their farming technologies. So that can be a sustainable mobility and biodiversity restoration in total. So EU has also some more advantage, or I would say more positive points towards policy integration, towards priority focus areas, because as quoted by some members that there are 17 SDGs, and it's not that much easier for some of the states which are in developing stage. They need more monetary support to adopt those as all SDGs as they are, but they have priority focus. This focus is actually designed or opted just by reviewing, by realizing the damage which is being caused to our beloved planet. So obviously we all know that the maximum damage is caused by the CO2 bulk production, which has caused severe weather fluctuations. That's why we are seeing some extreme winters or extreme summers in the areas where it was never happened before. Like we are having extreme summer days in Europe, which was never happened since decades. And we are seeing some extreme winters in South Asian part, in African parts, which was even not happened before. So this is the time, I would say, though we are a bit late, but this is a time then when we have to open our eyes, and when we have to be ready for collaborative and coordinated action to combat this global climate challenge, because if not, then maybe in coming days we would be more affected that cannot be recovered by economical or financial betterments. So currently, like focus area for Europe is SDGs 7, 13 and 17, which are actually focused on clean water, clean energy and efficient production and consumption. It's not limited only on the financing some billions of euros to EU territory or to worldwide, and it's not only limited with the EU Green Deal, but EU has a very significant role while it's coming under the innovation and research. Through Horizon Europe, they are investing around $100 billion for getting some research, getting some technological innovations by researchers. They are investing this amount totally on research that can help them to grab some innovative ideas which can be green and safe in nature. So they are more focused, again, as a research point of view, they are more focused on clean energy, infrastructures, consumption, and climate actions. So that means by having some technological innovation in clean energy, it will create some employability rather than eliminate employability. And if we see some infrastructure renovation or infrastructure redesigning, it would also come with some opportunity rather than removing some people from their work. So there are some also misconceptions regarding adopting the SDGs in any areas, because when we come with some new ideas, it always comes with some lot of opportunities. Well, EU has also some good practices which are more focused that can be considered from local action to the global impact, because they have engaged with their local or district level management or governments, which are actually the driving force towards adoption of SDGs in real meaning. So they are engaging different cities, universities, SMEs, and local governments, because we know that these are the essential drivers for SDG delivery. So EU is trying to mobilize their local governments too. All along with this good and advantageous news, we have still some challenges which can be addressed, which can be improved, which can be encountered by some of the collective actions, which include some implementation gaps. It is surely because of some economic challenges, some skilled worker placement, and there are some economic tensions, like some of the members have already raised this issue, that it's not possible for every EU state that it can adopt SDG practices as some of the developed EU states can. So there are some realities and there are some honest opinion too. We have to be collective, we have to be very united in actions that can address such challenges. And there are some global inequities. Apart from EU states, we can see some of the states in Africa, in South Asia, they are still being called developing or underdeveloped countries. That means they have very different issues. First, we have to be able to address their issues, which can be make them able to address SDGs adaptation. And there are some geopolitical instabilities, so we can take these challenges as an opportunity. We should be very united to rethink, redesign our strategies, that how we can overcome on such challenges which can help us to grab the SDG adaptation. So there are some solutions which can be helpful to address these challenges through Global South partnership. If EU can come forward and having such collaborations with Global South, so it can help us, because by doing this, we can get to know the real issues from the Global South, which is a more participating in terms of population. So if we have some real collaboration and coordination with Global South, we can be more effective and more efficient. And clean economy leadership. Clean economy doesn't mean that we need to like demolish all the fossil fuel facilities. No. We can take this opportunity, we can take them continue until we do not have like energy efficient or cost efficient renewable source. But by using them, we should be responsible, we should be motivated to adopt some CO2 capturing technologies, because we are not allowing, we cannot allow actually to produce more CO2 because it has already affected a lot. So we have to limit CO2 production, which can affect the environment. We can more invest on climate finance, because it would be helping those states which are not able to address such challenges, and along with that, digital transformation, that we need to behave quite responsible by reducing some organic waste or organic materials utilization. So there is urgency of global action regarding climate acceleration, as we see that Greenland is getting livable, which was never dreamed some decades before. We had strong and very potential glaciers there, but they are melting. They are melting with a speed which was never expected by researchers, by statistical advisors, but it's happening right now. So this is a need of climate acceleration, that we need to stop this global warming as much as we can, because it has already more than doubled. So there are some geopolitical tensions, so we should have very responsible regarding some socio-economic issues or socio-political issues, and some economic imperative. As EU has already focused on some global GATW initiative, through which they are investing 300 billions in different states. So it can help, such practices can help to eliminate such challenges. So what can be the path forward for us? We can think about strengthening our climate diplomacy, that we have to convince all the world. It's not only about EU, because when it comes to climate, that means all the globe. So we need some strong climate diplomacy which can help us to realize other people that what are the damages if we don't action now. And accelerate green innovations, though it can be through solar energy integration, it can be through wind energy integration, or it can be through geothermal integration, or other green practices. Even if we are having some hydrogen fuels, it's okay, because it's not causing some global warming, though it has some other safety concerns on which we can technologically improve. And we have to ensure just transition. That means we have to be very, I would say, responsible and honest to follow just transition regarding renewable energy transition. It should not be renewable energy addition, it should be real energy transition. That means if we are producing some megawatts of energy from green sources, that should be directly eliminated from the fossil fuel powered plants. It should not be taken as an addition to the current energy volume. So if we are going towards just transition, that will actually help us to reduce the CO2 load from our planet. So I would just conclude my knowledge sharing or interactive discussion that global sustainability demands urgent, collective and coordinated actions. EU leadership can catalyze this transformation by linking local innovations with global vision, by demonstrating responsibility, solidarity and innovation. Europe inspires a new era of shared goal progress towards a sustainable and equitable future for all the human beings which are living on our planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mangi, for your valuable insights and for setting the intellectual foundation for our debate. We will now enter the main segment of our session, the debate session, moderated by the Commissioner. This segment will allow our MEPs to articulate their priorities, negotiate solutions, and collaboratively shape a final resolution. I now hand over the session to Commissioner Nadila Muti Rizaldi for the debate moderation.
Thank you. Distinguished delegates, welcome to the plenary session of the Model European Parliament. We will debate the crucial motion on how can the EU accelerate SDG implementation while respecting economic diversity, empowering citizens and leveraging our strengths in tourism and green energy. The order of the initial statements will be Germany, Spain, Italy, and then Greece. Each will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Please keep to your allotted time.
Germany supports Germany supports Spain, but we feel Spain is a bit too worried about the economy. We believe renewable energies would create green jobs and also strengthen the economy. The whole of EU gets to benefit from it. Also, with Italy, we believe Italy is also correct. And we believe when we collaborate, there will be a lot to do. And also, with joint renewable projects and knowledge, students and young people will all benefit from these. Thank you.
Spain is ready to move forward with its sustainable development goals, but we're thrown at an unfair playground. Germany has already established energy systems and has built their own machinery regarding greenhouse gases and as well as solar panels. It is harder for Spain with its economy to move forward with sustainable development goals because of our economy. Germany can follow through without any issues. We can't. Spain urges the entire council that no member should be left behind, as well as that we request for different members of this council to help us reach our sustainable development goals.
Thank you, Spain.
About Italy, we are keen towards maintaining our relationships with every EU Parliament bodies, and most of the challenges Italy is facing with is health and well-being, because after the pandemic, we are currently going through that, and we are coming up with the ideas, and EU is also helping us with the situation, and with their help in the well-being of Italy. But still, we need certainty, deadlines, and help from all cross-border nations and the EU, that we can sustain that goal of the health and development, and go towards well good health, sustainability. Okay. Second challenge we are facing is like unemployment and quality education. Yes, we are getting help for that, and we are looking forward to the same help from each cross-border nations and the EU parliaments. Um, Yes, we are into good hands. Like we are doing a good job in security and laws, because as I earlier said, there's we cannot speak of any equality or peace without considering without considering the rights of the individuals. Um, and that's how the law form comes, thanks to the international laws like ILO and all. So with their help, we can sustain our laws, because the thing is, we cannot pursue justice without good and fair laws that ensures to provide us the women and children for non-violence and exploitation. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Italy. Okay.
Yeah, the main issues that the Greece is facing is the climate change. So we are expecting more collaborations with the DHTs and the countries like Germany, Italy, and France. We are expecting more collaboration to prevent these issues. The clean energy and energy independence, that is like we are morely focusing into. And by 2030, we are aiming to be 80% the usage of the green electricity and the green hydrogen. We are investing more and more into that, and it's a maritime country, so we are having thousands plus islands, and tourism is the main income, and we want to protect our the biodiversity of the oceans. So we are seeking more help and infrastructures, widening help from the EU. And we are getting the support, but we want more monitoring from EU to make it even better for a better livelihood in Greece. Thank you.
Thank you, delegates, for your clear positions. We will now proceed to a moderated debate. Please raise your hand if you wish to speak. Each intervention will be limited to only 1 minute. And I remind all members to direct remarks to the policy, not to individuals. The floor is now open.
Okay. So, Italy, as a country that has a lot of tourists, and with tourism, you need to be sustainable. So, Germany is willing to collaborate with Greece if they are able to come up with sustainable tourism. So we would provide or collaborate when it comes to renewable energy, so you don't spend or move more into nuclear and coal. We will help you with renewable energies and green technologies such as hydrogen and electric cars, like we have in Germany, because 10% of our our buses are electric. So if you adapt same, you are going to reduce emission, and by 2030 we'll be able to reduce emission by 0. Also, when it comes to trains, up to 60% of trains in Germany are electrified. So when you adapt same technologies, you are going to have a sustainable tourism. And to the EC, I believe the EC should push further for sustainability. To meet the SDGs by 2030, we must increase renewable investment. It seems we've been a bit laid back, and we are kind of waiting until it gets out of hand. Europe must lead by example. So we need to increase renewable investment and accelerate green innovations. Thank you.
Thank you, Germany. Spain, would you like to respond?
Yes. I wanted to talk about the first point of Spain's perspective on SDG is obviously SDG 8, which is youth employment. The green transition that we're all aiming for must create youth jobs, and that the EU must support southern labor markets. As stated earlier, unemployment rates has increased to 25% in 2025. As known, Germany has 6-7% of employment. The youth in Spain are more likely to be jobless and struggle than Germany. Because there are many young people that are unemployed, the potential for green sector employment has reached an all-time high. However, this cannot be done alone. We need our fellow members to help us with investments and support to make it a reality. High youth unemployment is not just an economic problem, but also a social risk. Without creating these meaningful employments in green jobs, a whole generation can be stuck in a precarity. Spain has tens of thousands of young people ready for employment, but without the support of our members, how can Spain move forward? If the EU wants clean energy and invest at its highest, Spain is the perfect country, especially with solar energy and solar panels could be absorbed, and large amounts of employments can happen in Spain, obviously.
Thank you, Spain. Italy, would you like to respond?
Yeah, thank you. More likely is like yes, we are going to a 2030 agenda, of SDGs, and some of our countries, like in EU, they're facing some problems. Yes, we are also facing some problems. They also have although some countries are like pro SDGs, but with some lack of budgeting, all or other aspects of the SDGs, we are lacking behind something, and we are coming from a very crucial condition called pandemic. So we, from that time towards the 2030 agenda, we are lacking behind something called as time period, and with that lack of time period, we are going towards that agenda. And I know that everybody is facing some issues, some problems, whether they are short of the budget or they are short of the time. But I know with the time, with the 2030 agenda, everybody will collaborate and everybody will help each other towards the leaning one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Italy. Greece, would you like to share?
Yeah, thank you very much, Germany, for supporting us, and we are expecting more from you. And for Greece, the agenda for 2030 is clean energy and energy independence, then blue economy and marine protection, digital transformation and innovation, sustainable and resilient tourism, and migration and border management, at last, climate adaptation and crisis. And these are the agenda that we are investing, and we want more investment to flourish these actions in the future. And we are expecting more and more collaboration with the EU countries you can support, because like as I mentioned, Greece is mainly focusing on tourism, and we have thousands of plus islands. There is livelihood, and the pandemic affected us a lot. And so we are rising up, and we expect more from EU, and a continuous monitoring is needed, and the collaborations are warmly welcomed. And I hope by 2030 we can get a faster results, because with the help of SDGs and the European Union and the countries, and I'm extremely happy with the support and the aids provided by Germany and other nations. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Greece. Would anyone else would like to respond to Greece's statement? Okay, so thank you. Delegates, today's discussion has vividly illustrated the complexity and richness of Europe's commitment to sustainable development. Germany's call for visionary leadership reminds us that EU must lead by example, setting ambitious policies for a greener future, and Spain's insistence that no member state should be left behind emphasizes on the importance of inclusivity and fairness in our collective efforts. And for Italy, Italy's focus on citizen empowerments highlight that sustainable progress is not just a policy, but a challenge, societal one, requiring the engagement of and support of all Europeans. And for Greece, your emphasis on sustainability as an opportunity to protect heritage and foster prosperity enriches our debate by linking environmental goals with cultural and economic vitality. As your moderator, I thank all delegates for bringing forward their perspective with clarity and respect. This session has paved the way for a European approach to the SDG that balances leadership and solidarity, innovation with inclusion, and ambition with realism. Let us carry forward this spirit as we work together towards a sustainable future for all citizens of Europe. This session is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, and thank you to all delegates for an engaging and constructive discussion. We will now proceed to the final part of today's session. Distinguished delegates, honored guests, and dear colleagues, As we come to the end of our Model European Parliament session, I would like to take a moment as we come to the, let's say, to reflect on the spirit of collaboration, critical thinking, and mutual respect that we have witnessed today. Our participants have demonstrated not only an understanding of the sustainable development goals, but also an appreciation for the complexity of policy making within the European Union. The challenges we discussed, from financing the green transition to ensuring equity among member states, are not theoretical. They are real, ongoing, and deeply interconnected with Europe's future. Today's debate highlighted several critical themes. Number one, the importance of innovation and renewable energy investment. Number two, the necessity of fair and equitable support for southern and developing regions, and the central role of citizens and small businesses in driving sustainable change. These are not merely policy recommendations, they represent a roadmap toward a more inclusive and forward-looking Europe. I extend my sincere appreciation to our guest speaker, Dr. Kashif Mangi, for enriching this session with his expertise and for offering a real-world context to our discussion. I also commend our Commissioner, Council representative, and all four MEPs for their professionalism, preparation, and thoughtful engagement throughout this session. To everyone attending, thank you for being part of this learning journey. The European project thrives with diverse voices come together to pursue common goals, and today we have embodied that principle. This concludes our Model European Parliament session. Thank you once again for your participation, your energy, and your dedication. I wish you all a pleasant and inspiring evening.